Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. Let's have a casual look and compare the Rolex Explorer and the Seiko SARB033, two well-loved watches in their respective price range and excellent watches for everyday use. The Seiko has the advantage of having a date, and the date wheel is color-coded, so it's nice and inobtrusive. And you also have a display case back on the 6R15 movements. You see there's even a bit of decoration on the rotor. In terms of accuracy, I've actually put those two on the time grapher. And the Seiko in different positions goes from -8 to +8 and averages in general in daily use quite accurate, at least at the moment. While the Rolex is the superlative chronometer, you can't really compare the two in terms of grade. The Rolex is it's a $5,000 or $6,000 watch, and it shows. The accuracy is diabolical, and this one usually averages at +1 second every day, and you won't see anything worse than -2, +2 on a time grapher, and it's a very reliable tool. While the Seiko 6R15, you hear different stories and you never quite know when it might let you down. It's not exactly the watch you should count on if you're gonna go to the summit of Mount Everest. Nevertheless, for a budget of about $300, it's a lovely little watch. I hadn't worn it in a long time. I tend to wear my Explorer quite a lot when I go back home, when I go to the office, and at home at night, because the Lume is amazing. There's Lume on the Seiko as well, but it's a very different Lume. The Seiko Lume is green and very bright. Even though it's not applied to a lot of space, you have it on the hands and small.
Rectangle has 4 sides. A rectangle has 4 sides.
Triangles at the tip of every index. It still has quite a strong shine to it, green shine, and it will last quite long into the night. No problem. The Rolex have really an amazing combination here with the chromolite. It's not only this blue, it's a soft hue, so it's not a obtrusive flash in your face at night, and it will last pretty much at the same intensity all night. It's quite impressive, and I do prefer it quite a bit. In terms of size, and that's the thing, the Rolex of modern times, they were fairly big, although both are 29 millimeters. They're completely different watches. The Rolex was much beefier, much bigger. You occupies more space on the wrist, and for me, having a 17 centimeter wrist, it is definitely my favorite of the two. And I hadn't worn the Seiko in a long time, and I gotta say it feels a bit small, a bit flimsy. Still a really well-made, appointed watch, because it also has a sapphire crystal like the Rolex. It's not a screw-down crown, which means it's very easy to wind on the go. Just nice little wind, and you have a lovely S there on the crown, something you don't find in the modern iterations of this type of watch. Bracelet, I always thought it did the job. No issue really with the nice little polish bevel there, but obviously the oyster bracelet is just the best in the business. It's the bee's knees, and a beautiful clasp with some complex elements. It's just a nice snap, fold over, and you have the incredible Easy Link, which I use a lot here to get half a link of extra comfort when your wrist swells up in the heat of the summer. In terms of look, the Rolex has a lot more presence, while the Seiko is quite discreet. It's a bit like the Datejust of Seiko, and it looks like a lot like some. There's a Grand Seiko model that looks a lot like this. You can wear it every day. I think it works in any circumstance, and it's the same with the Explorer, which is why these are interesting to compare. More rounded edges with the Seiko, a bit more angular for the Explorer. You can compare for yourself the polishing. It's given the price point, I think the Seiko one does a great job. I'm not too hung up about polishes, to be honest. The Explorer especially is a tool watch, but nevertheless the bezel, as you can see, is quite amazing and reflects your surrounding. I don't think there's AR coating on the Seiko, just like there is none on the Rolex. Both watches have a great contrast, steel on black. In the case of the Rolex, everything that shines on the dial is white gold, much larger and generous than on the Seiko. So the reading is impeccable. It is the most legible watch probably on the market, daytime and nighttime. I mean, there's no point saying that the Rolex is much better. Obviously, it's a better watch. It's more luxurious. It's more expensive. It's much better build in every way. We just have to compare relatively to the price, and I think both for what you pay, you get your money's worth. I think I paid under $300 for the SARB033, and apparently it's been discontinued. So if you want it, try to grab it. I think now the prices have crept up because the stocks are running low. While the Explorer has been in this format since, I believe, 2016, when they put bigger hands and Lume on the 369, which makes to me a big difference from the previous version of the watch. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Of course, the crown here is screwed down, and luckily for me, the crown, when screwed in, is pointing up. I made a whole video about it because it's just it's a thrill, because usually the crown points in every possible direction. Threading it actually is my minor gripe about the watch. So it's screwed down, so you have a nice water resistance. Actually, water resistance is the same on both. I wonder if the Seiko, yeah, no, it's 100 meter, the same, but it's not screwed down. So I think I would trust this one more going into the water. Yeah, I was saying threading it back, often the crown would get stuck. Well, not this time, and then I would have to just go back a little bit, try to find that little click of the threading, and then roll it in. Apart from that, ultra smooth to wind. It's a bit more grimy on the Seiko. And setting the time, actually, it's very, very precise when you push back the crown in. There's no back play on the minute hand, while you might have noticed that the Rolex here at the minute doesn't quite align because I didn't do it perfectly. There's a little bit of back play, so I usually set the minute a little further than the index before when I reset the watch. And I've noticed that with pretty much most Rolex, Omega, they're all a bit like that. So kudos to Seiko to make such a user-friendly movement. A lot of the value of the Rolex is in its amazing movement, while the 6R15 here, really, if you have a problem, servicing it at Seiko will cost you more than replacing it. So there you go. Don't think there's a point of telling you which one is the better one. To the left. It will all depend on your budget. But I will say one thing, is that 2 years ago I bought the Seiko because I was just dipping my feet into the horology waters and getting my first pieces. Back then, definitely I should have gotten the Rolex Explorer. I could have invested the money and I would not have regretted it. I don't regret having the Seiko. It was a nice experience to have it, and actually it's kept its value as much as the Rolex, and maybe even more. I could sell it for more than what I paid. It's in excellent condition. So it's become a bit of a rare bird. although they probably made thousands and thousands and millions of them. But I'm gonna keep it for my son. He's gonna enjoy it.
It's from Daddy. Ready?
Okay.
Close your eyes. Open your eyes.
Yeah, my last message would be, if you do have the money to buy the Rolex, and if you can find it, would go straight for the Rolex. You won't be disappointed. If you don't have the money to invest, then do grab the Seiko. All right, guys, speak to you soon. Bye bye.